Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about something every Nigerian needs to understand: the Nigerian tax law with effect January 1st 2026. With a few days to the new year, this is something everyone needs to know. Yes, the new tax law could affect your salaries, your side hustles, your freelance income, and even your businesses. So let's break it down step by step in simple language. In this video, I will explain who pays tax, what to expect, who does not pay tax, and what you need to do before January 1st 2026. The Nigerian government passed 4 major tax laws in 2025: the Nigerian Tax Act, the Nigerian Tax Administration Act, Joint Revenue Board Act, and Nigerian Revenue Service Act. These form an overhaul of the Nigerian old tax system. So you may ask, why did they do this? Number 1 is to simplify the tax rule. Number 2, to broaden the tax base. Number 3, to boost economic fairness and growth. When I say to simplify the tax rules, there are so many tax rules and some of them are actually based on discretion. So it depends on how you interpret the tax rules, and some of them are just very vague. So these new tax laws or tax reform will simplify the rules and broaden the tax base. So what we used to charge our tax on now is wider. As we go forth into the video, you will understand better. And of course, to boost economic growth and fairness, we all know tax is a source of revenue to the government, one of the major sources of revenue to the government. So as they take more people into the tax net, as we broaden our tax base, of course the revenue of the government increases, it increases the economic growth, and it also improves fairness. So these laws replaces the old tax law, combining and modernizing them into just one single act, which is good. We used to have different laws before, but now we have one single tax law, which is a combination and a modernization or an upgrade of the previous tax laws we've had. So you may ask, who does this affect? Does this affect me? What role do I have to play? Let me ask you a question. Are you a salary earner, a business owner, a freelancer, or even somebody that does side hustles? This affects you. All income earners and businesses that make money in Nigeria will be affected. If you have a TIN, which is a tax identification number, these changes matters to you. If you don't have a TIN already, you need to get one before 2026, like ASAP, to get a tax identification number before the new year.
The FIRS has now come out to say that your NIN has automatically become your tax identification number.
So let's break it down one after the other. The first one is the personal income tax. These are the changes that affect individuals and salary earners. So how this affects individuals: for individuals earning less than 800,000 naira annually, you are exempted from tax completely. That means for people that earn 800,000 naira or less in a year, they do not have to pay tax at all. They are completely exempted from tax. This means that most low income earners will pay no tax at all. The second point is that progressive tax band remains, which means that the higher you earn, the higher tax you pay. So we have 3 types of tax bands. We have the progressive, the proportional, and the regressive. For progressive, like I just said, if you earn more, you pay higher tax. For regressive, if you earn less, you pay higher tax. Then the proportional, everybody pays the same tax rates, which is like, let's say 30%, 20% flat rate. Everybody pays, whether you are a high income earner or a low income earner. But the consolidated relief allowance has been removed. So now what we have is a rent relief system, either 500,000 or 20% of your annual rent, whichever is lower. Then the fourth point is income from freelancing or side hustles must now be declared, and not just to pay the regular PAYE. They may be required to file returns. So I'll give a quick example. If you earn 700,000 in a year, you are completely exempted from tax. You will not pay tax at all. But if you earn more, you will be able to pay a certain percentage of tax, which we'll explain in the next segment. So let's move over to companies and businesses. For small businesses, which are businesses that have less than 100 million naira in revenue and less than 250 million naira in assets, are completely exempted from tax. So if you have a business and you do not make up to 100 million naira in a year, you are regarded as a small business in Nigeria, which is completely exempted from tax. That means you do not have to pay any tax at all whatsoever. You are regarded as a small business owner. Prior to now, we had what we call the minimum tax. So if a small business make a loss, they are still required to pay a minimum amount of tax, which is called minimum tax, and there's a way it is being computed. However, now they are completely exempted from tax. If you make a loss or you do not make up to 100 million naira revenue and your assets is less than 250 million naira, you are completely exempted. Company income tax, which is usually 30%, may now be reduced to 25% depending on presidential order. This is based on the presidential order, but there's a tendency that CIT, company income tax, will be reduced from 30% to 25%. A new developmental levy will now replace the old levies that we have. So just a single levy will replace all the other levies, and it will be starting from 4%, and it will reduce to 2% by 2030, that is in 4 years. These are some of the known facts we should bear in mind considering this new tax reform. Number one, the FIRS, which is the Federal Inland Revenue Service, will now become NRS, Nigeria Revenue System, with new powers. So we're changing all FIRS offices to NRS. They have new powers now. The second point is digital platforms and banks will now share income data. Yes, so those people that have been avoiding or evading taxes prior to now, because you are not under a structured organization and you've been evading taxes, the money comes into your bank account. Now the banks now have the liberty to share that information. So what this means is that any money that comes into your account needs to be labeled. You need to identify it so that when the bank shares the information, the bank will be able to tell that, okay, this is a refund that was sent to me, or this is money I'm sending to somebody for transportation. So every money you send out of your account needs to be clearly stated. You need to clearly describe it. I know there are a lot of people that don't like description. Oh, just send me the money, don't bother typing in the description. Now you actually have to put a description on the money you send to people, because if you don't put it an appropriate description, when the money hits their accounts, the money is assumed to be a revenue regardless of the amount. So it is advisable to always put the specific description of what the money really means. If you are contributing money for maybe a contribution for travel or something, state it there. Let it be clear. Description matters. Like, description is everything in finance. Like, description is so important, especially when it comes to accounting, because it basically tells you how to treat a transaction if you know what the transaction is about. So description is very important. If you've not been putting description in your transactions, start learning how to put it now. Get used to description like right now if you don't want to pay more tax than you should. Penalties for late filings will be stricter and more consistently enforced. What this means is that usually at the end of every year, the books of a company that their financial statement is being audited by an auditor, and then they file the report within a specific period of time, depending on the company's year end. If you file late, there's usually a penalty, but now the new tax law will ensure that the penalties are stricter. The company will be fined a certain fee as penalty, and probably interest if the penalty payment is also delayed. So yeah, that will be stricter 2026. Also, employers must follow monthly withholding tax and PAYE rules consistently. So these are the things you need to do before 2026. Number one, get or update your TIN before 2026. If you don't have a TIN, like I said earlier, your tax identification number, you need to get it before 2026 January 1st. Number two, keep accurate records of all your income sources. I know a lot of people, a lot of you guys have multiple streams of income, multiple sources of income. You need to keep a record of all your sources of income. Know what's coming into your account. There are some people that money comes into their account and they don't know what the money is for. You need to keep actual record of all your income. But three is you need to get professional help. If you run a business, even if you run a small business, get a tax consultant, accounting consultant, anybody, just get help. Don't think that the services of these professionals are useless. No, they are not useless. Okay, so that you don't fall victim for something that you could avoid. So seek professional guidance if you need it. If you don't have an in-house tax professional, get consultants. There are decent fees to be paid to these guys, but their services can save you millions. So do not underestimate the help or the usefulness of a tax consultant. Also, verify information. Do not believe everything you see online. Verify information. Read tax laws, read periodicals or documents that are being released by FIRS, NRS. read them. Don't believe this new saying that there's a 20% tax rate for anybody that earns 800,000 naira and above. This is not true. It's not going to be 20% flat. It's going to be a progressive rate. So if you earn 800,000 naira, less than 800,000 naira, you pay zero tax. If you earn, let's say, from 800,000 to a certain amount, you pay, let's say, a certain percentage. If you earn higher than that, you pay higher than that. So it depends on what you earn. The higher you earn, the higher you pay. That is this progressive tax system. Finally, I would say prepare well before 1st of January 2026. Thank you for watching this video. If you found this video helpful, leave a like, subscribe to my channel if you're not yet subscribed, and if you have any follow-up question, just leave it in the comment section down below. I'll do well to answer your question. And if it's something you want me to film about, maybe how to get your TIN, how to file taxes, or to file your returns for small businesses and all that, just let me know and I'll be sure to film the video. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.